Hello again, everybody. We are at the point in this phase of the meeting where we are bringing things to a close. We're delighted to have Doug Van Houweling, who is going to offer us some closing remarks. Doug is Professor Emeritus of Information in the University of Michigan School of Information and Professor Emeritus in Service of Learning Health Sciences. He has a long career in higher education, information technology, leadership, and management, which positions him very nicely to offer these comments. He's led the information technology function at Cornell University, Carnegie Mellon University, and the University of Michigan. He's also led in the development and deployment of advanced network infrastructure for higher education and research, first with the NSFNet project and then leading Internet 2. Dr. Van Houweling's research interests include the development and future of the Internet, sensor networks, and information technology management. Doug, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to your remarks.
It's great to be here. And it's been, for me at least, not a person with substantial background in health and healthcare. It has been quite an interesting experience over the last 2 days to think with you about the way that we could use computable knowledge and mobilize computable knowledge to assist in health, especially with the explosion in technology that we're now seeing. As was cited several times and highlighted by Alain Lebrique's presentation at the opening and by Deepak's comments today, we are, for maybe the first time, on the verge of a global set of infrastructures that will allow us to actually move forward in utilizing the extraordinary data that is being thrown off by our healthcare systems to actually improve human health on a global basis. I know that sounds probably a little overstated, but from my perspective, having been involved in MCBK from the very beginning, this is the first year that I have been willing to make a statement that bold. We are now seeing finally infrastructure being put in place that will provide us with the foundation that will allow us then to create a learning health cycle. Now, I don't mean to suggest that tomorrow the problems are going to be solved. Not at all. I mean to suggest that we now have an opportunity to work even harder to mobilize computable knowledge. In particular, I found the comments that Dana made about the role of the patient in our future extraordinarily motivating. The fact is that we are now in a situation where we can anticipate that what we would have formerly thought would require major corporate efforts can now be undertaken by individuals in small groups to generate solutions that address the particular health challenges that they confront. What I don't think we understand at this point is how we can leverage that innovation to feed the knowledge, the information base on which we intend to build our future in computable knowledge. We are beginning to see how the information that's generated by the healthcare system can provide a data foundation for that work. But I don't think we yet have a notion about how the data that comes from the individuals, the patients, patients is a word that I'm not entirely comfortable with. I have to say that I would really be more comfortable in talking about individuals, because even when you're not a patient, your health is important, meaning that you don't have to be involved in the formal healthcare system to be concerned about and care about your individual health. So the fact is that a lot of us are now wearing devices that monitor our current heart rate and so forth, that help us think about our health on a regular basis. But we haven't yet found a way to take that flow of data into these data resources that are being developed in Europe and by the World Health Organization. So we have a challenge there in terms of the data. So we have the data challenge. We have an institutional challenge of how we actually implement these visions of integrated data in support of computable health. But we also have a new potential and challenge on our horizon that's actually now rushing at us rather quickly. The whole notion of artificial intelligence, and what, after all, is artificial intelligence? Are these large language models really relevant to computable health? If so, how? We had a very useful discussion of that earlier today. I would like to offer just a few thoughts on that subject as well. A system that figures out how to put one word after another is not artificial intelligence. It may seem like artificial intelligence because it can generate such a convincing artifact of what a human being would do when they're writing or speaking. But as was pointed out, this is not a goal-seeking system, except in the very limited sense of trying to produce a conversation that mimics a human being. We have a long ways to go with artificial intelligence and its application to specific problems. As Jan LeCun observes, we need objective-driven artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence that is problem-focused as opposed to conversation-focused. Now, I don't mean to suggest that we're not able eventually to move in that direction. But until we can, we're not going to be able to focus the enormous computational resources that we currently have in the large language models on the issues that we confront in mobilizing computable knowledge. We are, I think, now challenged to help people understand that what they might see on a website which uses large language models with regard to a specific drug or a specific disease is simply an effort to throw some words together. And unfortunately, is not based in any substantial way on our actual clinical knowledge about that issue. So we have a challenge to bridge this gap between the expectations for artificial intelligence and the time when this tool will actually become useful to us. The bottom line here is that on the one side, we have this extraordinary level of implementation coming with regard to the data and information that we need on which to build a learning model that supports computable knowledge in medicine. Where we are imperiled is making sure that we understand how relative flows of information that, quote, knowledge that is being provided to the population across the world is not necessarily useful and applicable to their specific situation. So we have great opportunity, but we also have some challenges that we need to meet. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you over the coming probably decade to address these challenges and move forward on the mission of MCBK. Thank you for joining us in this meeting, and thank you very much for your contributions to our global effort.
Thank you so much, Doug. That was really a profound summary of the meeting that tied together many, many of the issues that came up spontaneously and with in response to the way the meeting was programmed. And I think you sewed all of that together very nicely, very much appreciated. So I will bid you farewell now and thank everyone who participated in this meeting, and now turn things over to Philip for his closing remarks.
Thank you, Chuck. So yeah, it just remains to once again thank everyone for participating. I think we've had some fantastic presentations and discussions in this meeting. There are several things that we've already decided to take forward in future specific webinars and events. There'll be some of these things will be global, some of them will be national and regional. But there's certainly plenty of progress and plenty of interest in taking the next steps forward in the vision of learning health systems and the role within that of computable biomedical knowledge. So a great event.
Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.